I'm William McCullough, and welcome to Teen Talk. Today I have with me Leah, Miley, and Emily, and this episode's a little different because there's more people, but we're also talking about two subjects. So today we're going to be talking about winter blues, like the post-Christmas depression, and the junior year crash out, which is what we like to call it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's start off by saying each of our names, what you want to do or your plan for the future, and kind of how you've been feeling recently. Emily, you want to start?
Oh, okay, I'm Emily. After high school, I want to go to college, don't know where, but probably studying radiology or some sort of imaging. And right now, it's getting a little better, but still overwhelmed and overstimulated with everything.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. I'm Miley, and I'm not sure what college I want to go to yet, but I do know I want to be a dentist, go through dental school and all that. And recently, there's a lot going on, especially like in between January and like March, I think, with midterms and everything else. It's just the hardest part of the year, and it's overwhelming because I don't meet my own expectations and I get overstimulated, like you said. But
Okay, I'm Leah. I plan to go to Penn State for biomolecular biology, and I want to be a medical examiner someday, so it's a very long pathway to get there. And right now I think we're all just struggling mostly in science, just the amount of workload that we get and how hard the classes are. Yeah.
definitely.
I think a lot of pressure has been put on juniors specifically because teachers are constantly saying you need to take these hard classes, you need to take these APs, but I feel like sometimes we don't need them, and I don't know why they pressure us so much.
I agree, and it's like they're meant to prepare us for our future, but that's what this year it feels like it's all about.
Yeah.
Like it makes it feel like we don't have any time at all.
Like this is like quote unquote the hardest year because it's like this like determines like your college. Like this is
Yeah.
when your colleges are gonna look at these types of grades because like your senior year like you're kind of like they're not gonna look at your senior year as much because it's
Yeah.
like your senior year, but like
Yeah.
the junior year is when they're like
You're taking SATs and
Yeah.
applying for colleges around this time too. So
Also, I feel like Emily said, like your grades are the most important for actual colleges because this is the year that they're really going to look at, and it feels like this year is where everything is piled into, like all of these important classes that we weren't able to take previous years, and like this is the only year that we're really able to do it. So there's a lot of pressure there.
Yeah.
Even now my grades aren't looking
Yeah.
I just think that for me, I think we all kind of want to go somewhere in like medical field science. So I don't understand why teachers are telling us we need to take all these really hard classes in like other subjects.
Yeah.
Like why, like, and then they make you feel bad if you
Yeah.
don't take like the AP English class and you just take the regular class to lighten your workload, then you
Yeah.
feel like stupid.
Yeah, I agree. But so it's not only the difficult classes that we're taking, it's like planning and preparing for our
Yeah, it's
future too, which half of it we don't understand. We're told to do things, but we
Mhm.
don't really know what path we take and how that will end up. We're just told possibilities and we're not sure where that
Leah and I yesterday, we were looking at different things for colleges at Penn State, and we were looking at all like the classes we would need, and I just didn't understand what it was telling me.
Also, it's so competitive. Like,
Yes.
it's so
Yeah.
competitive to get into these college programs. And I don't know if, like, you guys also experience this, but, like, I always compare myself to, like, other people who are doing really good in these
Yeah.
classes, and I just don't feel, like, smart enough to
Yeah,
do
I
it.
agree.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like there's no way that we're the only people that were have the same grades as us that
Mhm.
went through college and think the same thing. Like I'm
Yeah.
sure there's people who are like each of us. We're all different, like various with our grades. Like we vary. But there's people who went through the same thing, thinking the same thing, and I bet they're doing fine now.
Yeah.
So.
I think it's hard to look at like the future and see like what we need because no one really has an idea of what you're gonna need for the future. Because I tried to look to see like, okay, I want to go in to do this. What do I need to get me there?
Yeah.
and it doesn't tell you.
Yeah, no, it's not straightforward. You
It's
have
like-
to really
Yeah.
go do some
It's not like a
digging.
straightforward step-by-step process.
No.
It's like here, here, here.
But it's also like if you want to do this, there's this, but also that. But if
Yeah.
you want to do that, there's this, also,
but also there,
Yeah.
there's like,
But
there's
if you
like
don't
a
do
starting
this,
point,
you're
and then
back
there's
here.
like 18 million branches off of that, and then
Yeah.
there's like 18 million branches off of that,
Yeah.
and then there's like all these different options that you can do. Like the college thought just stresses me out because
Mhm.
there's so much you want to do. There's limited things that you can
Yeah.
do, like. But then it's like, oh, but I can do this and that. But then it's like, no, I can't. Like that's unrealistic.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then it's like everything else on top of that.
Yeah.
Also, what's really frustrating is like, say like I'm like 2 years into college on a medical track and I don't like what I'm doing anymore and I want to switch my major.
Yeah.
Well, at that point, it's like it feels too late because I'm already.
Yeah, it's a lot of
2 years
money,
into
a lot of
college.
time, and a lot of decisions that you thought you had made that aren't what you thought.
It's so
they
much
were.
pressure to put into 1 year. Like I have to decide this year what I want to do, and I probably am not going to want to change my major in the future. Like I need to decide now, and it's just
Yeah.
so
I'm
much
worried
pressure.
I'm not gonna like what I want to do.
Yes,
Me
I
too.
am
Like I'm gonna get
too.
into it and then I'm gonna regret. Like I'm gonna see somebody else doing something else and I'm like, wow, that looks really more
Fun.
fun than what I'm doing right now.
I feel like-
now I regret this.
Yeah, I feel like right now though we kind of just narrow it down to what we think we might do, and it's like for me at least, it's like well nothing else because I don't want to be in the medical field, but like everything else doesn't interest me, so I'm like okay, if nothing else interests me, then I guess dentistry is what I want to do.
Yeah.
So
I-
I'm just narrowing it down. Really, it's not like
I feel like people are just always like, well, you need to know what you're doing now. You need to be able to plan what you're going, and you need to know what college you want to go to. And I feel bad for the people that like have no idea what they want to do
Yeah.
because there's just so much pressure being put on them. And really, you could go into college undecided. Like you can figure it out when you
Yeah.
get there.
yeah, I think I agree because some people have no idea what they want to do,
Mhm.
and some people will figure it out when they get there, but
I have.
There you go. Hey. Go ahead.
No, but like I have one of my cousins. Like he is in college right now, and he had like he started out on a criminal justice major, and was taking a bunch of classes for that with like a psych minor. But then he ended up like he completely like didn't really care about it. He didn't know what he wanted to do with it after, and he ended up switching his major. And now he's doing a business major, but he switched it like halfway through his first semester or halfway through his first year after their first semester
Wow.
taking. And now he's doing a business major, and he wants to go to be an accountant.
Wow.
And, but like, and he switched, and like it was a hard switch because then he also like switched and started living on campus, and then he went off campus, and
Oh,
now
wow.
he's like, but like he adjusted to it.
Well,
and
yeah,
he's
it
fine now.
changes so fast.
But,
I think another really hard thing is that you're kind of like thrown into all these clubs, and I just feel like there's not enough time in the day.
Yes, I agree. Like all these hour requirements and everything. I am overwhelmed
I
right
am
now.
too.
I have
Yeah.
to say, I've done so much. I've done like sports, I've done different academic clubs, different like extracurriculars, all of that. And I will say, there's so much pressure put on people who are in a variety of things to be the best in each one of those
Yes.
things. Like I had to be the best in sports, and I had to go and spend all my time with sports. But at the same time, I had to be a captain of mock trial, and then at the same time, I had to keep my grades up. Like it's so
Yeah.
much pressure put on people, and I think it's just too much.
Like,
Yeah.
I know. You're okay. Go ahead.
and then like if you slip up once, it's like, oh, why didn't you do that? Why didn't you do this? And it's like, I was doing this and that. That's why I
Yeah.
didn't get this and that done.
Yeah.
And
I
then
think
it's like
sorry.
the end of the world.
I think some people don't realize that like sometimes I just want to do things for fun, and I
Yeah,
don't want to
yeah.
have to be the best in
At
everything.
everything.
Like for sports, I'm not very good at sports, but I still like to do it for fun because I like to stay in shape. I like to be outside,
Yeah.
things like that. But I did quit this year because I was having too much pressure put on me to
Yeah.
spend 8 hours on different things. Like I just can't do that.
If you
so.
look like in the other room, you can't see it right now, but I wrote on the whiteboard all of the clubs I was in, all the hours that I needed, all of the hours that I had right now. And I just stepped back and I looked at it, and I don't know how I'm gonna do it all.
Yeah.
Like how I did it all in the past. Like
Oh, I think that this year it's really
Yeah.
Burnout is so bad. I'm so
Yeah.
burnout.
Yeah, I
I'm so
know.
burnout.
But I think that's also like myself that's
Mhm.
thinking this. Like I don't have to be worried about it when I think about it. Like if I really think about it, I think I have time to think about college. But also at the same time, we come to school and it's like you don't have time.
Yeah.
And then also like workload related. I feel like I could do better, but I don't
But
know.
then when I try to do better, it's like,
I just feel like I haven't had the energy to put effort into anything, and I don't know how I did it last year because I had
agree.
more classes last year. Like I took 2 AP last year compared to my
Yeah.
1 this year. Like I don't understand what's different.
Yeah, it might just be the classes that we
Yeah.
take, like AP Chem, because that's my only AP class
Yeah.
this year, so, and it's, like, I can't even think about Chem without
It's-
getting stressed out.
Yeah.
I think we're putting too much pressure on ourselves too, because we all lack sleep, like so
Yeah.
much.
Yes.
We all lack
Yes.
sleep.
Yes.
You guys go to bed at like what, like
Two.
I wake up at 2
Yeah.
to do my work, so it's like
Yeah.
we're putting a lot of pressure on ourselves too.
I agree, and what upsets me is that, yes, school, I don't do anything outside school really. I mean, I have sports, but that's in the fall, but outside of school, I don't do much at all. I don't hang out with that many people, but it's only school. School is the only thing that takes up all my time if I'm not doing something. And that also, I feel like school takes away from my personal life, so I can't
Yeah.
even, take the time to do things for myself because I'm always doing stuff for school.
Yeah.
Always.
I try and talk to my mom and be like, I just am so burnt out. Like all these classes are so hard, and if I don't take the class, then I worry I'm not going to get into college. And she talks about how much fun she had in high school and how she took these classes and she got straight A's and she did all these fun clubs and was able to do everything. But I feel like I'm not having fun.
No.
I feel like all I do is homework, extracurriculars, try and catch up on everything, and then I just repeat it the next day.
Mhm. It's
exhausting.
exhausting.
Yeah, I feel like a zombie most days.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
really
I
bad.
know. I'm always dreading something,
Mhm.
to do, something I know that's coming and I don't want to do.
yeah, that's
what every day is.
accurate.
That's
There's
what-
always something I'm dreading.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
Yeah.
And it was better Christmas time. November to December is great because there's a bunch of breaks. It's you're still getting into the hang of school again from summer. You have Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's, but then after New Year's, it's you've nothing to look
Yeah, you're
forward
in
to
it-
because
yeah.
there's nothing going on.
Yeah, you're in it for the long run.
Yeah, there's no breaks.
No.
There's maybe a 3-day weekend, and this year it's been snowing, but there's no snow days, so it's just
Yeah.
crappy outside, and I'm just sad all the
I
time.
know, just looking forward to
Freezing.
summer.
Yes.
freezing.
Coming to
Dreading
school,
the
so cold.
fall coming into school.
It's
Yeah.
either too hot, too cold in this school, or too loud, too quiet, and it's
Yeah.
overstimulating.
So wrapping back to grades and stuff.
Mhm.
So for me personally, I feel like I get good grades and I'm taking hard classes,
Mhm.
but what's always frustrating for me is people who take regular classes
Mhm.
are getting hundreds and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have a higher what's the
GPA.
yeah, GPA and class rank.
Oh,
Yes.
And it's so frustrating to me because I feel like I'm putting all this effort into things and I'm getting good grades still. I'm still getting A's,
yeah.
but it's not enough.
Yeah.
And colleges look at your class rank.
Mhm.
And it's I feel like I'm taking all these hard classes and I'm doing okay, but these people are taking regular classes and they're doing great. And it's just
What's their class rank?
Yeah.
Yes.
If you don't mind me
Yeah, I agree.
asking, what is everyone's rank?
Last
11.
year, you were
I was
11.
11.
We had 135 people last year.
Sounds
Yeah.
about
I
right.
was 26. I
Okay.
think.
I was around 30.
Yeah.
And I was 4th, I think.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
Yeah,
so you can't really.
No, but we're all in
We're
above the 50th.
percentile.
Yeah,
Percentile.
top 20%.
Yeah.
But that's funny that you say that because I remember freshman year, at the end of the school year when it came out in the summer, I was 11, and then
Mhm.
my mom was like, maybe if you studied a little more for actual
Yeah.
tests and stuff, you could be top 10. That'd be top 10 should be a good
Yeah.
milestone,
Yeah.
achievement goal. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna make top 10 next year.
Mhm.
So sophomore year, I tried my best. I got good grades,
Mhm.
all above 100s for every class, or
Around
with
100.
weighted.
Yeah.
And then report cards came out, and I was still 11.
Mhm.
And my mom lit into me because I didn't make top 10.
We had
She didn't lay into me, but she was like,
Oh,
she was
you
like, you could have
could
if you
have
did
been
a little
10.
more, yeah. She was like, if you would have focused a little bit more, studied a little bit harder for one more test, you could have made top 10.
Do you mean top 10% or the
No,
top,
top 10.
people.
Okay.
I think that our grade is really competitive,
Mhm.
and the top 10 are like the smartest people I've ever
Yeah,
met.
I
I have no idea how I got there.
Yeah.
Like, I know that like the top 2 are so smart that they fight for first and second, and like third down, like they're all so smart and they put in so much effort, and I'm like, I care about my rank, but I'm not gonna kill myself over it.
Yeah,
Like,
I agree.
I feel like other schools I know they don't tell you your rank. They don't tell you your
Really?
rank, they don't tell you your GPA until your senior year.
I didn't know that.
Like, my cousin in Ohio, she doesn't know what her rank is, and she's a senior. She has no idea.
That's interesting.
I feel like that would kind of be less pressure put on me.
Probably.
But at the same time, I kind of liked getting it because
Mhm.
it made me like, okay, I need
Yeah.
to do better.
Yeah.
Because I want to beat the person.
It also made me feel, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but it made me feel a little accomplished. I know my class
Mhm.
rank isn't as, like, the highest, but,
But out of however many kids, that's like good.
yeah, that is
Right.
good. When you think about how many people we have in our class
Mhm.
and where we are,
Yeah.
I think that's great. Because if you think about an average class, that is only like 30 people. And
Yeah.
we're in, like, within one class, if you look at how many people are in a class, like,
Mhm.
those are the highest people
Yeah.
in our grade.
I think it does feel like a little bit discouraging for me though, at least because I take all of these hard classes
Mhm.
and I fill up my schedule, and then I work really hard,
Yeah.
and I just feel like people with easier classes are able
They're
to
getting higher up.
just achieve better grades. So I think to myself, like, why do I take all of these hard classes
Yeah.
if it's just not really getting me where I want to be?
Because it doesn't matter if you take a bunch of hard classes, it really doesn't matter if you're not getting good grades. But that's when everything else comes to play, the stress and everything else.
Sometimes I feel like I wish someone would have told me in like 8th grade when we were making our high school schedules that you don't need to take classes that you're not gonna need.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I went down to the guidance counselor and I was like trying to plan out my schedule for this year, and I was like not having enough room, and I was like, how are all these seniors like getting half days?
Yeah, I know.
And she was like, well, you don't need to take these classes. I was like, but what do you need? And she's like, you don't need them for college, like you will get in without them. And I didn't believe her because I was seeing like all these people like telling me, like shoving down my throat, like you need to take these classes, you need to get high grades in them or you're not getting into college. And I just don't understand why people aren't like telling us this.
Yeah, I think some people also just strive to have as many classes as I can and like have a very diverse schedule. But I don't understand how anybody can do that.
I
Especially
know.
me personally, I have 6 study halls
I know.
throughout what do you call it?
Week.
A week, yeah. Throughout a week, and I don't know what I would do if I didn't have
I
that.
I know people are making their schedules for next year, and the one girl in our AP Chem class, you know who I'm talking about, is taking 4 next year. 4 APs.
Really?
Yes, I don't know how they do it.
To handle the stress of thinking about each and every class, like going home and being like, okay, I have to do this for this class, this for this class, this.
Mhm.
Like, I don't think I could handle all the deadlines and
Well,
all
uh-huh.
the homework and all of that for
Thinking-
each class. Like, I can barely do it right now. And I'm
Yeah,
one
one
AP
AP.
Chem
Yeah.
and
I don't think that there's many AP classes next year, at least for what I would want to
Yeah,
go.
there's not
Science,
many.
there's not many.
Yeah.
So for somebody that doesn't want to go for something history related, which I think that's all they really
Yeah.
offer, like next year, I don't really know why you would do that if you're not going to. Like, I don't do well in those classes, and I took AP. I took A push because I wanted to do good. I knew
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to stand the environment that a normal history
Yeah.
class was in, but I didn't do well, so.
I think there's so much peer pressure to
Mhm.
like, okay, so like we're all interested in science.
Right.
So I took a majority of science
Mhm.
classes this year. A lot of our friends were taking AP Lang,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and I chose not to because it's just not something that
Are you
interested
taking
me.
It didn't fit in my schedule.
Yeah.
None of us
So I
are,
couldn't
right?
take it. I had to take honors.
I think there's so much pressure to take honors classes and AP classes and things that you're not even interested in, and it just creates so much more workload for
Yeah.
yourself.
I
That's just
agree.
not necessary.
oh yeah, dual enrollment workload,
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah.
I also feel like I don't like mean this to like I don't think it will offend anybody, but I feel like in a normal class people have different hopes and dreams. Like some people that go through school are just doing it to get through it and they can't
Yeah.
wait to get out.
Yeah.
And what happens after high school they're not really worried about. But that's where like I feel like AP and honors and regular, that's where they are different because people who are in AP and honors are worried about their future and
Mhm.
where they'll be after high school, but a lot of people aren't worried about it. And I wouldn't be. I don't think I personally could hang around people who, and have classes with people who weren't motivated. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we all are at the point where we know generally where we want to go, but it's the trying to get our high school degree that's gonna burn us out. And I'm just worried that I'm gonna be too burnt out to go through like 8 more years of college.
Mhm.
Like I don't
Yeah.
know if I'm gonna
It's
make
so
it.
discouraging too because like you see people on social media who are in medical school and they're like, this is the worst day, like this is the worst
Yes.
experience of my life. I'm studying 12 hours a day, like all this stuff, and I'm
I
like,
know.
how am I supposed to do that? Like I'm getting
Yeah.
burnt out right now
Or-
from high school.
Yeah, or they're like, this is what I wish I would have done instead of doing
Yeah.
this, or like how I wish I would have handled it.
I keep
Yeah.
trying to tell myself, like, when I get really burnt out and just, like, hate, like, I don't hate high school, but, like, some days, like, I hate being here. Like, I don't want to be here. And I keep telling myself that once we get to college, like, we're not going to have to be in so many things. Like, it's just going to be school, maybe a job, like, some clubs,
If you can handle it.
if you can handle it, and then get through it. Like, I feel like it's not going to be as bad. Like, it's going to be harder, but we're not going to have so many other things that we're going to have to do.
It's
Also,
like unnecessary.
If
Yeah.
can I say, like, so we're doing the workload of an adult. Like,
Mhm.
actually, we're doing more than I think, like,
Yeah.
say my parents are doing, because we're up
Yeah.
for
Mhm.
hours at night, like, doing work. And what bothers me is, like, we're doing this work and we're not treated
Like an
like
adult.
adults.
Yes,
Like,
I
we still have to raise our hand to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Like, it's just it's so frustrating.
Yeah, I
We're
know.
not allowed to have our phones.
Yeah.
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 I think that, like, so at Montoursville, we don't have our phones this year. They got taken away. Like, we have these pouches now. And they've been okay, I guess. Like, I was against it at first. Like, I'm getting more work done now.
Yeah, I
But
think so.
at the same time, like, I feel like I'm not as, like, I don't have as much because I use my phone so much for academic.
Yeah.
Like, we text each other multiple times a day,
Yeah.
like, guys, this is due next period, make sure you
Yeah.
have it done.
Did you do this?
Yeah, because I have a picture of this. Can you
Yeah.
take a picture of the board
Yeah,
and
we
send
can't
it
take
to
pictures
us?
of, like, the board
Yeah.
or anything now. It's
Yeah.
so
I
frustrating.
just feel like it's really inconvenient.
Yeah.
Because we're not the problem.
No.
Like, we're
Yeah.
not the problem,
I know,
so it's just
'cause
frustrating.
Because we have other motives with
Yeah.
school and what we want
Like,
out
we're
of
getting
it.
punished for things that kids did that they
We
shouldn't have
actually
done.
use them for education
Yeah.
purposes.
For the most part.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can
like,
admit that
lunch,
I was a
lunch
little-
and study hall, like,
Yes,
okay,
exactly.
Yeah.
But like in classes, like we weren't on our phones, like we weren't the problem. And like you hear the stories of other kids saying that they were like literally refused to put their phone away.
Exactly.
Like
that's
insane.
just-
After being
That's
told multiple
crazy.
times, I would.
Like, it's not that serious, put it
away.
That's fine.
Like just the not being scared of discipline, like that's
Mhm.
crazy.
Yeah.
I think, like, our class has such, like, I haven't noticed this much in, like, the other classes, but, like, our class specifically has such a divide. Like, there's, like, the smart kids that know what they want to do and they want to, like, they're in all the things, and then there's, like, the kids that are just, like, getting through high school.
I know.
And, like, there's 2 separate groups. Like, you're either in one or in the other, like,
Yeah.
you're not in
Yeah.
both.
Yeah.
And I think that's hard for us because we're all really good friends. Like, junior year is hard because we're all really good friends with the seniors.
Yeah.
And we know that they're going to be gone, and then we worry that we're not going to have anyone on our
Yeah.
back
Yeah.
because our grade isn't really connected as much as, like, others are, and we're more connected with the other grades. So I think that's really hard, especially junior year, knowing that all your friends are going to be gone next year, and you're going to be, like, on your own.
Yeah, but sometimes I think it's nice because they are our friends, and
Mhm.
looking at them if they can do it, I feel
Then
like
we
I
can.
do it.
And I think it'll be good next year when it's, like, not to be selfish, but it's going to be all about us next year.
Yeah.
Like, it's our senior year, and, like, there's a lot more fun opportunities, and knowing that, like, we're so close to getting there, and that it'll be, like, our last year, and we'll get there, we'll be done, and we can move on, like, is
Yeah.
kind of hopeful to look at.
I wish I had more fun. Like, throughout,
I
like,
know,
these
yeah.
I
past
feel
few
like I would have
years.
fun.
Like, I feel like I've just been doing work,
Mhm.
and I wish I had more fun.
Yeah.
I feel kind of proud of myself too at the same
Yeah.
time that I
Mhm.
wasn't so worried about, like, I mean, I think I have a pretty good split between, like,
Mhm.
having fun and not,
Yeah.
but just because I don't think about actually
Yeah.
wanting to have fun.
Mhm.
But, I forget what I was going to say now.
So if you think about
I
it.
feel like they're like last month, like January and like December, like we were on break, January, beginning of February, that was rough.
Yes.
Like it was actually peak crash out, like awful. I never want to relive that again. but well, also on top of that, basketball happened and that peak crash out. But like I feel like now like there's other things and like now like I feel motivated to like get my schoolwork done because I have other things now that like I want to do and like it's now motivating me to get my schoolwork done. Like also like softball's coming up and it's like okay I want to like start doing my work as much as possible so that I can have like time to go out and like do other things. And like spring's coming up, so like
Yeah.
I want to go outside.
It's just gonna
again.
be better.
Yeah.
Like, everything's just gonna be better
So
when
like
it's
I want to go
warm.
outside.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
hoping that like motivates me to get my schoolwork more done, so that I have time to do other things to try and have that split of like school,
Yeah.
fun.
You need to have that, otherwise you won't be motivated to do your
Right.
schoolwork.
Mhm.
You need to have a good balance.
Why do
Also,
you why do you think that those 2 months were the hardest? Is it like do you think it's because you just got back from a break or do you think it's because of like because people call it the winter blues and like I kind of see it but I haven't seen it as bad as this year.
Yeah.
Like this year was
Yes.
really bad.
For me, it was after March, like football season
Mhm.
ended, and then that was kind of like the one like asset that we had to like, you know, something to look forward
Look
to.
forward
Yeah.
to.
And then you had like Christmas, which was good,
Mhm.
but then I just like knew it was gonna be coming after that, like
Mhm.
January, February.
Yeah.
It's cold, and there's just
Mhm.
so much work and pressure.
Mhm.
I feel like that's the max point,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
of workload.
It's again with the dreading, like you
Mhm.
know what's coming,
Yeah.
and this with like the midterms, which we didn't really
Yeah,
have that
we
many this
didn't,
year,
yeah.
but
Mhm.
like it's like the harder point of the year because
Yeah.
I feel like halfway through the year is when things get harder. Like yeah, usually you think it's like the end of the year, but this is like kind of the end of it because most classes end in like May, kind of especially
Yeah.
AP class because that's so.
I feel like I definitely reached my point of like breakdown earlier this year. Like it came to me like right before Christmas. And it's never come that early and I was really worried when I came back like it was gonna be that bad and it was. Like I
Yeah.
knew that it was gonna be bad. And I just feel like the teachers like I love the teachers and a lot of them are very supportive, but a lot of them are like, well, you gotta do it. Like there's not like they don't really work with you a whole lot when it comes to
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I mean they say they will, but I
They-
don't really
yeah.
But
feel
then
it.
it like I also feel like January was just a long month.
Yes.
Like it felt forever.
Yeah.
And like now February's
February's
almost
like
over.
almost over. That's
And
insane to
January,
me.
like yeah, it actually is like a long month. It's 31 days, but it felt like forever.
Mhm.
Like even just the actual days felt
Mhm.
long. And I don't know why it felt like that, but it was literally the longest month of my life.
But
I hope that once it starts to like get closer to like spring break that it'll get better.
Yeah.
Because I think we all have like a lot going on right now. Because
yeah.
I go from school. I wake up at 7 in the morning. I get to school around 8. We get done at 3:15. I have to stay here until 5:30 for the musical. Then I go home for a minute, and then I have to go to dance until like 9. And then I have to stay up and do homework. Like it just is like constantly going. Hold on. Constantly going.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that.
Yeah, through the few months like January, I mean maybe end of December,
Mhm.
but January to like March, I think that we have a lot to do and a little to look forward to,
Yeah.
and that's where things get hard.
So, what would you say is your biggest advice to someone who is coming up into high school? Like, what would you tell them? If you could talk to your younger self, what would you tell them?
I would tell her to not feel pressured to take these classes that aren't necessary for things that I'm interested in. Like, the problem that I have with it is there's such a big jump between regular classes and honors classes.
Mhm.
Like honors classes, you're getting all of these, like all of this work, and
Mhm.
regular classes, like we said before, are just easy.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just need to make that choice for yourself on what's
Mhm.
best for you, and just take more time for yourself.
I would say get in the habit of doing things early, getting things done early to make time for other things instead of feeling like I'm cramming everything in to get it done when I want to do something else. Because that's on me. No, that's not school. Like nobody can help me with that. That's on me, and I have to take that on myself.
I agree with that, like time management, but I also would say like just being able like when you get like work assigned to you, instead of looking at it like this awful thing, like take your time and like just like do it. Just like sit down for like however long, find like how you work best, and just like sit down and just do your work. Like don't make it this whole like overcomplicated thing. Like yeah, it might be hard, but like just sit down and like actually
Get it
just
done. And build a habit of doing
Yeah.
that too. Because once you do, I feel like,
Like,
yes, your high school would have been way easier, right? Build
yeah,
habits,
and
good
get in,
health,
like
good
routines.
habits.
Like
Yes.
have a routine.
Good,
so.
healthy habit routines. Yeah.
I like to end every episode with a quote from my guests. So who would like to start?
I can start.
Okay.
So this is a personal quote. I can be better or for the worse. There is no pressure or expectation. Take the time that you need to be who you are.
Riley?
Would you like to go? Okay, I'll go. If you find yourself in a hole, stop digging.
I like that.
Sorry. In stressful times, it's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to cut yourself some slack because right now you might not be your best self, but you're growing and you're trying your best, and that is good enough.
Well, that concludes this episode. Thank you, ladies. And we will see you on the next one. Bye.